Okay, so let's talk a little bit about just like where life is at. You know, um, I just turned 48. It's my birthday, and yeah, I've done okay. I've had a good career. I've had a couple of careers, to be honest with you. A software engineer. I've also been the last 10 years a screenwriting teacher. Um, kind of taught myself to do that, built that business from the bottom up. It's not a huge business or anything, but regularly fill classes. Uh, things aren't so bad, but I'm feeling the effects of age, various forms. I'll probably get into it some other time. Um, I'm a little on edge about all of it right now because basically for the whole first month of this year, I've had something wrong with my foot, some kind of infection or something. Doctor extremely unhelpful about it. Actually waiting this week to get an MRI to try to learn more. And I think the thing is, as you get older, these things start to weigh on you more because you start to think, ooh, is this going to be the thing? Like, is this how it's going to be from now on? I don't know, maybe. Part of me is working on acceptance of how things change over time. Part of me is working on fighting back against it. I just had a call with my trainer this morning, and I told her, listen, this was the 48th birthday. I've come into it. I've been doing pretty well in the gym for the last year. Not where I want to be. Nobody ever really is where they want to be, but I'm definitely not where I want to be, and I want to make it my goal to hit, 49 and then 50. 50 is looming over my head a little bit. Um, come into those as in the best shape of my life. And that's kind of a tall order because when I was in high school, early college, I was playing soccer, I was playing football, I was a varsity athlete, I got athletic scholarships, invited to try out for the Olympic development team in soccer, so I was in pretty good shape. But there was the shape of an 18-year-old who, you know, isn't trying that hard, like doing sport specific training, yeah, but I was eating for shit. And uh, yeah, I think back, bring like two bologna sandwiches to lunch, call it a day. Um, so what's it look like to, take all the knowledge I've gained and apply it to my body at 48? Anyway, that's what I told my trainer I wanted to do. First, I gotta get this foot thing in order, but, you know, why am I talking about this? Well, I want to talk about a midlife opportunity or a midlife crisis. I'm getting the channel name mixed up. Um, by the way, speaking of midlife crisis, why am I playing a 20-year-old MMO right now? Well, I'm talking to you. And the truth of it is, I've been playing this game on and off for 20 years, since 2004, since the Red Sox won their first World Series in 96 years. Um, and it's a place of returning to comfort for me. It's a place of, uh, some people dissociate with scrolling on TikTok or uh, Instagram or, watching TV or whatever. But this is this is how I can dissociate a little bit. This is super cozy. Like, I don't have to think too much about it. I've played this game seriously when I was younger. Um, Now it's a lot more casual, and it's just a chill time. Turn it on for an hour, veg out, get back to doing something else. Um, but I picked this game up. I'm 48 now, so I picked it up when I was 28, back in 2004. And, part of me is like, oh man, what have I been doing in 20 years and I'm still playing this game? And there's a little feature called slash played. You can see how long you've played a character, and so this one's 8 hours. But if I go look at some of my other characters, I don't even want to. I don't even want to look at it. But then you weigh that against, how much time do you spend watching TV? How much time do you spend watching porn? Reading books, and I'm not. I don't know. I feel like some people will want to put value judgments on how you choose to spend your free time and how you choose to spend your one wild and precious life. I don't think any hobby is better or worse than another, especially if it's just the way you relax. But another part of me is like, well, things when I was in my mid 20s were good and bad. Like, when you are older, when you're getting older, there's always a tendency to look back and, ooh, treasure chest. Um, Look back and just think like, oh, what, you know, what have I lost along with my youth? Like, what opportunities did I let slip past? How have I let my body go? Um, what do I regret? How much have I forgotten? All this other stuff. And, the good old days, back when I was younger, back when I was healthier, back when I could stay up all night, uh, stuff like that. But I'm really trying to think about what I've gained. What I've gained since then. My kid grew up, uh, successfully got him into adulthood. Whether or not he's a successful adult is up to him, but I did my part to get him there. I've built a career. Like I said, I've built a couple of careers. I've gone through, when I was back then, I was super depressed. I was pretty freshly divorced. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was kind of floundering. I had just moved back to Florida from Boston. I was extremely unhappy. Uh, and, since then, I've lived a whole life in the last 20 years. And I lived in New York. I did comedy in New York. I lived in LA. I lived in Georgia. I lived in Baltimore. I dated. I've had periods where I wasn't dating. I decided to go back to school finally after 25 years. I've started doing astrophotography. I've picked up all kinds of different hobbies. I'm well respected in my field. I've seen, wonders of the natural world. And just because I'm 48 now doesn't mean I don't have to, like, that doesn't mean I have to stop gaining new experiences, and it doesn't mean that my best years are behind me. And I think, like, if you're older than 48, you're probably thinking, like, yeah, no shit, dude. Um, but that's the sliding scale of dealing with age, right? Like, everyone thinks that, you know, good times are behind them and hardship lies ahead. Uh, there's a pivot point, right? Like, once you get past a certain age, you're like, oh, I'm aware that uh, maybe this is dark, but maybe I don't have as many years left in me as I've got behind me. Um, I've sort of become obsessed with this idea. Not obsessed, but I want to be like one of those injecting blood of my kid in order to try to be young people. But I have sort of latched onto this idea of like, oh, 48 more. 48 more would be nice. Like, if I've lived this much life in 48 years, what could I do with 48 more? But the truth is, it doesn't really matter, right? Whether it's 48, 28, 8, the only thing you can really be doing is doing what you want right now to make your life as good as you can. And that's not the same as live each day as if it's your last, because that's kind of a stupid fucking saying. No one could possibly do that, but plenty of comedians have hit on that better than I could here. It would just be wildly irresponsible, right? And what are you going to do? But, like, what I like to think is, can you live each day in a way that you feel good about? I recently heard someone talking about, can you, if you look back at the last 2 weeks of your life, would you be happy with how you lived during those 2 weeks, like on average? Because on any given day, you got to go to work, you got to pay a bill, you have a weird fucking foot problem that takes a month to diagnose. Um, but on balance, are you moving toward the things you want to be moving toward? I think is the question, and that's what I'm trying to do. And so to back to this idea of the midlife crisis, I think people talk about midlife crisis a lot, uh, and they are, 40, 50, etc. But reality check, baby girl, at 50, you are past midlife. Statistically, midlife is going to be 36 for most men. Um, and that's just like on average in America. Uh, so we're talking about like three-quarter life crisis just about at this point. So, okay, let's set aside that idea of midlife and let's set aside that idea of what can we how can we wildly reinvent ourselves for an act two or whatever? Fucking act two. Be a part of an 8-act play and just keep hitting intermission and then coming back with the curtain up and going into a new arc. I'm running around here because I'm trying to get this buff that should probably theoretically drop any minute now. It's gonna make me super powerful at this low level. I'm level 13 and I care about world buffs. Someone already dropped on me. Anyway, and so that's the point. And I say this more for me than for you, because you are an invented person who nobody's ever gonna watch this video. The idea of this channel, the midlife crisistunity, comes from there's a Simpsons joke where Lisa says something about in Chinese the same symbol is used for crisis and opportunity, and Homer's like, yes, crisistunity. And I think turning that midlife crisis into an opportunity to look forward and to be in that place where you're feeling good about how you're living your life, what you're progressing toward, whether it's doing something new, keeping going with what you got, somewhere in between. I think there's always a way, and there's always room for us to examine what we're doing in life and look at it as if it's an opportunity to say, all right, well, let's do a little reset here and let's make sure that we are hitting the things we want to hit and doing the things we want to do and making the most of this one wild and brief life that we can, while still operating in the confines of,
ours, then we must have
living in capitalism and needing to support a family and
by the fire and share
all
the
that other
stories of
stuff.
your mighty battles.
So,
Oh, wonderful.
anyway, that's that. I hope you enjoyed
These
this.
are from Zarg, are they?
You, again,
Dork sure knows his way into a lady's
invented
heart.
person who's never going to
Oh,
watch
I
this.
can't wait to cook
This is
it,
more a
but not
test than
too much.
anything.
Meat
One
is
thing
best
I've been
served
talking
rare, don't
about
you
doing
think?
for the longest
I've
time,
written
this
a
is
letter of
what,
thanks to Zarg.
God, now
Will you
I'm becoming one
deliver
of
it
those
for
things
me?
where it's like, oh,
If
we
you've
wrap up
already
and then
been
we
to
keep
the
going, but
crossroads and spoken
we'll
with their
get there real
Windrider
quick.
master, then you
Something I've
can
been saying
fly
I
a
want to do for a
Windrider back
long, long
there.
time
Take my
is
letter to Doris, the
science
Windrider
education,
master of
science
Orgrimmar,
communication,
and speak with him about transport to the
making
crossroads.
content about why I get excited about science and why I care about it. And another thing that I've recently been thinking of is I've got a lot of experience and a lot of things to say about my chosen profession in technology that I could share with people. I'm a mentor as a manager, but that's one-on-one with a small team. And even over the course of a 20-year career, you directly mentor only so many people. So, how can I force multiply that in a way? And I think that putting out content on YouTube and stuff like that is one way to do it. But I've also got a lot of the perfectionism in me and a lot of the fear of failure and all that other bullshit that a lot of Gen Xers and millennials are saddled with. And so this channel and this video in particular, this is number one. So this is ripping the Band-Aid off. Video number one, super lo-fi, super just do it and get it out there. Because the whole point is reps. Look at this dragon head, man. I love it. This is a 20-year-old visual artifact. It's got its tongue hanging out. I love it. no pressure, no perfection, no stakes even. Uh, like I said, nobody's going to see this. I'm just going to put it out there and put it up and see what happens. And what's going to happen is nothing, but the idea is to build momentum and keep doing videos. So anyway, if you are watching this and you have watched this far, well, fucking thank you. And I hope it was all worth your time.